No Simple Road is stoked to have Sunset Lake CBD back with us as our sponsor. Sunset Lake is the real deal. If you've looked around trying to find CBD and it just didn't do what it was supposed to do, this is the place you need to go. They've got every kind of product you can imagine, including CBD tinctures with sleep gummies that are great for getting to bed, CBD gummy bears and reishi-infused chews that can help bring you a little bit of calm in a stressful day. They've got salve. They've got smokable hemp flower that's great for folks like me that don't want to get stoned and paranoid but want to have the benefits of cannabis. Well, now you got it. And they even carry CBD products for your pets, man. I'm saying this is Darwin approved stuff. Go over to sunsetlakecbd.com and check out the full range of what they have. This is Vermont grown, right to your door, and they're giving you 20% off. So put in the promo code NSR20 when you're checking out. You're going to get 20% off your whole order. And I know you're going to love it. They even have subscription options open for you, so you don't forget to get your medicine. Go check out Sunset Lake CBD, everybody.
No Simple Road. Yeah, here we go.
Language, Aaron.
Oh, sorry, Darwin. God.
Did you just call Darren Darwin?
Called me
Darren Darwin.
Good boy, Darren. Good boy.
I'm getting it together, everybody. Just come on in. The weather's fine.
You got to get it.
Wow, 4,000 viewers already. That's
All right,
cool.
love it.
Smokes.
10,000 people watching.
Dang.
What's up, Trey?
We don't even
Good
have-
job out there, buddy.
Yeah. Well done, man.
We're about to talk about you, Trey, right now.
All right. Hey now, everybody. We're back. We are, well, mostly here today.
We're all here.
Welcome to everybody that's watching on. Is there anybody watching?
It's us.
Yeah, there's people.
It's just us.
Hey,
Hey,
everybody watching on
there's
YouTube.
people.
What's happening? This is Aaron.
This is Mel
This is Apple.
and Sean.
Jordan.
Darren.
Meg.
Yeah, we're all here together, and the weather's fine, and we love to take a bath. Welcome back to the No Simple Road Weekly Rewind, brought to you in collaboration with Melt Premium Mushroom Chocolates.
Melt.
Go over to Instagram and follow at Melt Mushrooms, MELTMUSHROOMS, because it's life-changing. It will evolve your soul to a new level of consciousness that you didn't even know existed before you started following them, when you weren't following, and now when you do, it's awesome. And tell them No Simple Road sent you, because you get 20% off of your
That's
order,
right.
and they ship all over the United States, and it's really good chocolate. And they have like a bunch of flavors. They even have a new like horchata.
Ooh.
And who doesn't like horchata flavored mushroom chocolate?
I do.
Yeah. Well, then they also have the 3 flavors of gummies and the capsules.
right.
Capsules.
If you're not into chocolate, which would be weird.
And the
choices.
minis. They've got the little minis.
Okay, so we're all here together today trying to talk, and we're talking about what just happened at the Sphere.
Yeah.
We were all there. Is that
Everybody
Yeah.
here was there.
Yeah.
Person, yes.
That's pretty crazy.
that is crazy.
We were
Yeah,
all.
All took a bath.
We did. Sean, how you feeling?
Great.
Yeah?
Fantastic.
Yeah, I would
Are
say.
you fully recovered?
Yeah, I am back to normal. I was back to normal Wednesday.
Whatever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well done. I think Wednesday was the toughest day for me coming back, because it was like we came back, we stayed an extra day in Vegas, and we came back Tuesday afternoon and got in at like
10,
10,
30.
and I had to go to work Wednesday morning at 7 o'clock. And I wasn't like fully back in my body. It was like I was watching from a long hallway down as Aaron went and did stuff. And it was really interesting. Yeah. But I know that like Instagram has been taken over, and everything has been
Yes.
all about fish at the Sphere. And
blenders and
blenders and dicks.
And Drew Carey
Yep.
and other things. And
We'll get to that. I just want to start off by saying for everybody that wasn't there, I get like the feeling of like, fuck you guys and missing out.
Who's doing that?
Please believe me, I've seen it. And like,
You got to Taylor Swift them, shake that shit off.
okay,
Just get it out of there.
I'm not worried about it, but I'm just saying.
You brought it up though.
I understand the sentiment because the videos on Instagram, even the stream, rewatching the stream, it doesn't convey the weight and gravity of what went down there. It just,
And the magic.
just doesn't. I've seen a lot of shit in my life. I've seen thousands of concerts. I've traveled all over. I've done a lot of things. This was the most insane, psychedelic, amazing experience I've ever had in 52 years of walking around planet Earth. It was the culmination of every dream I've ever had, every musical experience of anything at a show all came together in 4 days in Vegas with Phish at the Sphere. And I think a lot of people are feeling that way. And that's why all you see when you go to Instagram now is Drew Carey's memes and Phish stuff from the Sphere.
You can't not think about it if you were there.
I can't stop thinking about it if you were there.
Close my eyes and I still see the sphere. Sphere.
It was an imprint on all of us at the exact same time.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
I think that was part of what was so cool about it is that everybody there was experiencing Phish at the Sphere, including the band,
Yes.
for the first time.
I
There was just that air there that you knew that you were just part of history.
Mm-hmm.
in a sense.
That was fun seeing it because the band, there was times when you saw them stepping back and just taking it all in. They're staring up at the graphics.
I saw
like,
Trey do
blowing
that a
their
few
mind.
times, just
Like,
kind of look up.
holy shit.
Weren't you? I couldn't really see the band until night 4, but you were telling me that I think maybe the first set break, Trey just like looked around and was like, yes.
Like the set ended. We were on the floor all 4 nights and we were really close to Trey. Like maybe, I don't know how far, Mel. I'll say it and you'll say I'm wrong. So.
We were so close that we could see his clothing.
Okay.
And
Anyway.
like, and
Furlong.
his,
Yeah. Exactly, Jordan. Thank you. A couple furlongs.
It's not quite a fathom, but
And he went and he set his guitar down. And I'm not one of those guys that's like, Trey blinked. Oh my God. He's looking at me. Yeah.
You kind of are.
No, I'm not.
Babe.
And he sets his guitar down and I see him like just to himself go, fuck yeah. And I was thinking, first of all, there's a lot of buildup to this thing, right? Not just for us, but think about all the work and money and time and planning and logistics and all the shit that goes into like them pulling that shit off, right? And then you've got a team of people that are working on it. And then the night comes for the show. And it's up to those 4 guys to take that stage and make the thing happen. That's fucking gnarly pressure. And Phish has played, I don't know how many shows in their lifetime. And I'm sure it's like, they get to Dick's like, oh, cool, another Dick's. Let's go do this or whatever. This wasn't that. This was like brand new. All this stuff led up to it. You could feel the room was fucking vibrating that first night with people just like, oh shit, what's going to happen? And then they take the stage and I can imagine like the pressure of that moment of something brand new about to happen, even though you're a badass and you can do what they do, to get up there and be like, okay, here we go. It was really cool when that first set ended to see him like, fuck yeah, we stuck the landing. Like, and I knew that like the next 3.5 days of music was going to be some shit.
And you could tell that they were pacing things too.
Oh yeah.
It almost would have been dangerous in that venue to go balls to the wall with the, to open up with like antelope or
split open and melt.
Everybody was getting their bearings, looking around and, just taking stock of the venue and the stairs and everything. You definitely had to hold on.
Were you up? Where were you? You were in the 300s?
Yeah, we were in section 310 every night, 4th row of 310.
So did you see, we had talked, this is Jordan from Venue Llama, by the way, and Fire on the Mountain. We had talked on the lead up thing that we did and I was like, I wonder how many people are gonna fall and bust their ass. Like, did you see any of that?
Not really. I saw
Karina Reichman posted somebody falling and busting their ass.
Yeah, but the music wasn't even playing.
Yeah, that has something to do with a beer in his hand. And, like,
the only thing that I saw, there was a woman in front of me. I think it was the last night that I was there, the third night. She took a little tumble. Yeah, not when the music was playing. She kind of not tumbled, but sort of tripped into her seat, kind of hurt her wrist a little bit, shook it off. But that was the worst thing that I saw all weekend.
Yeah.
Inside the venue.
I'm really glad. I remember turning around on the first night and looking at everybody and being like, well, I hope you all stay safe.
Careful,
Good
gang.
luck. So they came out and do we have the set lists?
yeah, I got it pulled up.
What was the first song?
Everything's
Everything's right. It was the first
Just
song.
hold tight. That was pretty fitting.
Yeah.
You definitely had to hold the railing.
They're good at that. And the graphics that came up were like, oh, cool. They're putting pictures on the wall. Neat.
Yeah, I remember I was sitting here
Screensaver.
sitting here on the porch watching the like how they give the first song free and was kind of like, okay. There was a lot of comments like, what is this? Like DOS? What is this? Apple
Right.
Apple 2E graphics from the they kind of slow rolled into it, but for damn good reason.
As they got into the jam, I leaned over to the guy that was dancing next to me. God, I wish I could remember his name.
First night?
Not going to happen. Anyway,
Tony.
yeah, there we go.
But you know his social security number.
I sure
right?
do.
Oh.
And I said, hey, man, I don't think they're doing what they're going to do. And he was like, yeah, I think you're probably right. And then what was the next song that happened?
Back on the train.
Right around the end of Back on the Train, they turned the sphere on. And he leaned over to me and he was like, hey, man, I think they're doing what they're going to do. Can somebody here, like Meg, can you like,
Yes.
I know you weren't there on the first night, but
Tell us all about it.
can you
Or the second.
can you try and explain what that experience was like when you finally figured out what the sphere is?
It felt like the car was on, but we were like warming up the engine for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden we were just slamming on the gas. For me, it was pillow jets. Like that's when I was like, okay, this is what we're doing. Like that's the most immersed I have felt in any sort of community experience. My favorite word in the world is, well, it's 2 words, collective effervescence, which is the concept of a shared feeling in a room full of strangers where like you're all going through the same experience.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this could be a football game touchdown. It could be a funeral when like everyone starts to cry at the same speech. Like that was the most powerful form of collective effervescence that I've ever been through.
Wow, that's
Nice.
well
Yeah.
said.
Yeah, that's really well put.
Wow.
Can I steal that phrase?
Yeah.
Like everybody just did. That's a great phrase.
I think that like it was so impactful that when I finally figured out what was going on, at least for me in the moment, I didn't know exactly what to even do with myself. The way that I do a show was broken at that point. I'm like, oh shit. Normally when Phish is playing, everybody's fucking dancing their ass off and it's a groove and you're in that collective groove with everybody. And there was just like waves of astonishment going through the crowd, and you could like feel and hear these collective, oh, and then this like wave of feathers would come by with the sigh. And the idea of having my eyes open at a show is a new concept for me. I'm usually that guy that's dancing with his eyes closed. But to be forced to have my eyes open because incredible amazingness is happening all around me was totally brand new. And to add to that, it was light enough to see everybody that was around us. So you were like seeing the visuals that were happening and then clocking in real time the reaction of everybody around you. And it was like this meta level of connection with the crowd and everybody that you're in it with on a scale that I've never experienced at a show.
And the lights were super bright for a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
For most shows, you can't, unless it's an outdoor daytime first set or whatever, but the lights were on the crowd a lot of the time. So that was kind of interesting to be able to see people's reactions. And
Yeah. Well, speaking of outdoor concerts, I think the feeling of the Sphere didn't hit me until set 2, night 1. Like Carini was amazing. All that stuff in the first set was great. Life Saving Gun was awesome.
That was so dope.
Mike's song Weekapog, when they took us outside, blew my mind. And I had like seen that landscape before somewhere in my life, which is, we both connected on that.
Yep. There was, if you go, everybody listening and watching, if you go look at the videos, there's during, is it Weekapog?
It was Mike's Weekapog and
The videos during that, there's like this pillar
Lifeboy
thing, and it's got arms and it spins and like energy goes toward it. And I told Mel, I was like, it's so familiar. I don't like, I've dreamt that thing at shows. I've seen that in my head, that whatever that is. And then the guy next to me goes, I don't know why, but that thing is just, I've been with this thing before. It's like, me too. And then we get back to the room afterwards and Sean was like, I don't know why that was so familiar. And I was like, maybe we're on to something here. And when I called Apple, I was like, look, because Apple didn't come until the Sunday show.
Yeah. Yep.
And I was like,
Sunday.
Every like psychedelic trip that's gone on in my head, like the visuals that were in my head were projected on the outside for the very first time in my life. Like I told Jordan this last night, every show forever, when we get back and we reintegrate and, re-entry happens, there's always like a little bit of doubt in the back of my mind. Like maybe it was just, I was really high and whatever. But what the Sphere did for me was just completely demolished any of that. There's no way that what I've been seeing for the past 30 years was projected out on that screen if that shit's not real. And for all of us to be saying, oh, that's familiar. We've all been having the same fucking dream. That's as real as
or
it
some
gets.
version of it.
And to add to that, when I showed up on Sunday, I got there to your guys' hotel room about noon or so, and I walk in. I've known Aaron for a little over 40 years now. I've never seen him trying to explain what I was in store for, and you started crying. He's explaining to me, and then he's turning, and then next moment he's laughing. Like it was like tears of joy and laughter. Like, you don't even know, bro. Wait till you like I was like, oh my God,
he was
this
pretty
is
mad.
gonna be amazing.
Night 2, we decided to switch over to Mike's side because, all right, we've got 4 nights on the floor. Let's switch it up. We met this whole new group of friends. And so I'm in front of Aaron dancing. Aaron's right behind me. And like, all I could hear is like, and I'm like, what the fuck? Because I'm kind of feeling like that too, but Aaron's way more vocal about it. And it just, it felt like the best.
Tissues?
No
it's just blowing
tissues.
snot rockets on the floor.
Well, no, we have our little
yeah, I have my
shamag.
pashmina.
But so like, it feels like the best massage on your feet you've ever had. Simultaneously, someone's tickling your stomach while eating the best pizza of your life, getting a scalp massage
While you're having an orgasm.
and smelling like
In a
lab,
blender.
right? Like it's all,
That's
and
like
you're
it's
like
really
forced
possible.
to like feel it. Like you can't just like close your eyes and not, you have to like feel all of it. And that's I felt like an explosion in my heart on night 2 for sure.
Yep.
I felt like Trey was literally like unzipping my décolleté, opening it up and like massaging it, like
getting
really
risque.
cute. and then he like, then he like
off.
buttoned it up and like packaged it up and was like, okay, bye-bye. And like, see you later.
See you tomorrow.
It was phenomenal. That the level of musical healing that took place for me over those 4 days was like nothing I've ever experienced before.
Cam from Best Show Ever and I have a joke that we share with each other that's been ongoing since I think Cascade, like Goose ended this phenomenal set. And as soon as the music stopped, I went over to him. I was like, meh. And it's been a joke between us. And I couldn't even fuck around like that with this. I was like, nope, not appropriate, not doing it. Like I was going to text him when as soon as the show ended and be like, meh. And I was like, no.
Started crying instead.
Yeah, can't even like profane this shit like that. Like didn't fit. And the other thing too was like, Apple was like, fuck, man, they played my Steam and Steam. Sorry. They played my Steam.
Steam, we'll get to that in a minute.
And I was like, brother, it doesn't matter. This is the first time that like the calling song thing and the set list, for me, that was out the fucking window. Like didn't come
However, I did call quite a few songs.
Yeah.
What about, I mean, Apple?
I'm just wanted to say that,
the
you know.
The preview to the Sphere, Apple he was kind of close calling the theme for the 4 nights.
What did he say?
He said the elements.
That was close. That was damn close.
I mean, what was it?
It was the aquasphere, the biosphere, the hydrosphere, and the
different forms of
something
matter.
else sphere.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. The sphere,
the spheres,
Okay.
the sphere, the
Some
schmear.
not Nick Cage movies.
Darren, we haven't heard from you, man.
I'm here.
Let's hear it.
I'm here. Give the man a mic.
I am here. I want to echo. When you guys were talking about everybody experiencing everything at the same time, and you know, the band got to experience that as well. I mean, when we tapped into that, that's amazing. You know, that they could stand and see usually what's just going on behind them. You know, I think that had to have been so special for them. And it, you know, and I'll echo your sentiments, Aaron. After going to shows for, you know, most of my life, it was the single best sounding and best visual experience I've ever experienced in my entire life of going to shows. And I've seen thousands of shows just like you guys, you know, and you know, but I did find myself, and Jordan and I had a moment I was only there the third night on 420, and I did find myself at times still closing my eyes.
Oh, me too.
And waking up and saying, whoa, I should be looking, but still, I still went inward because that's where the music takes you sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, if it's
And
good.
like I had most of the time my eyes were open, but there were times that I found them closed, and it still was amazing because I have felt like, especially where our seats were, being at the edge of the screen, you know, we're like, you know, right by our section, we're kind of at the edge of the screen, and it still felt like that the lights were coming through me and that I could see them when I closed my eyes anyway. And it was beautiful, you know.
It was
just
beautiful.
an incredible experience.
What's happening here?
Hold on, everybody.
Oh, low battery.
That shouldn't be a thing.
Oh, I think we said.
No.
Yeah, we're good. We'll see y'all later.
Peace. Okay, we're back.
Problem over. Sorry, everybody.
You know,
Well,
go ahead, Apple.
Well, I was just gonna say what Darren was just talking about, the like closing your eyes thing. Aaron had kind of described to me before I was there for night 4. Was like, even when you close your eye, everything was so familiar. The graphics that they kind of created and stuff. I found that when I did close my eyes and then I reopened them, I was seeing what was happening.
Exactly.
Even with my eyes
Agreed.
closed.
Yep.
It was like they were pulling out of all of our heads collectively the painting that was done, and then the music, like you said. That's why I was thinking to myself at one point, I was like, wow, Bear would be proud.
Oh, Bear would have fucking loved that
Like
shit.
it was like
Wow.
it was like being inside of a set of headphones. The music came from every direction, and there was points I was telling Jordan this morning. I love Cody. Cody sometimes makes you do things during shows. He's like, you need to sit down. It's like, I don't want to sit down.
I'm at a show. How
But
dare
when
you,
sit
sir?
down in those, like when Mike was really hitting some note, you sit down and there's a subwoofer like under every chair. And when you sit down, it like tickled your ass. It like shook your whole body and put you like in his bass. It was like
I heard that
holy
for
shit.
Dead and Company,
was inside
everybody
you.
gets
Yes.
a plug when you walk in. You have to put in the haptic plug.
Yeah, yes.
I remember that conversation from after the show.
I think we're Ander, I think, was the one that
Yeah,
said
it was-
that.
it was Sax.
It's like, watch out, because Mike's gonna be going for that brown note, and gonna just tickle it right out of you.
I thought after the first night, I was thinking about No Simple Road and like doing this with you guys, and I'm like, this is going to be like trying to explain a DMT experience to somebody that's never done DMT. Like
you can't do that.
I know that like what I'm saying sounds super grandiose if you didn't go and you weren't there and you're like, yeah, whatever, you were high and the fucking sphere, whatever, dude. All of us are saying the same thing. Cody was sober and had the same experience. Like, it's the thing. And I was also thinking about this. If you go to the Sphere website and you look at there's a link on the Sphere website that says the science. And if you go, it shows you like the mathematical equations that were used to create this thing. And it's like, you know,
they're all over the walls too.
Yeah, in the bars.
Around. Yeah.
So cool.
So all of that stuff, when human beings write, energy is drawn to the shape of the thing, right? That's how language works. That's, you know, we have mother languages like Hebrew and Chinese and Sanskrit. The thousands of years of intention and thought have gone into these letter shapes. And so those shapes draw energy to them. Well, mathematics is the same thing. And these strings of characters are placed on the walls inside this thing. And when you walk in, just sober, whatever, no music playing, the atmosphere is different. When you step inside the sphere, there's you can feel an atmosphere change.
Yeah.
The air is different. It feels different if you pay attention. And that thing is charged for experience. It's made to give human beings a meta experience of the musical thing. So it makes sense that we all had this transcendent, crazy fucking thing happen inside of that because it's what it was built for. And then you get 4 nerds that are like the nerdiest musical nerds ever.
He started screaming nerds like Ogre did in fucking Revenge of the Nerds. He was like, nerds! Like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? And he was laughing maniacally, like a maniac.
During
like
the
that.
show?
At the end of the show.
Okay,
At the
not
end.
even like set break or anything.
No, it was toward the
I was
end, but
cheering
I was
for the
like, what
nerds.
the fuck are you doing? Like, that's not okay, but
Totally wasn't.
It's like being the dude that's screaming Freebird when it gets quiet. Like, don't, dude, don't.
It was to have those 4 guys that are just like the most nerdy musical guys on the planet take control of a thing that's created to give people meta experience. As the show was happening, I was like, oh, totally makes sense. This was built for Phish. I totally understand. I get it now. Like, and I will say, I'm excited to see what Dead & Company does with it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Me too.
Yeah, no, Phish is like one thing that tripped me out is the Sunday night show. Like when they did Ghost, the choreography that was, I had no idea that they had spotlights up behind the LED projection.
That there's no spotlights back there.
Yeah. You know, that like the choreography of that and how the eyes beamed down, and it was like, because it was just kept getting more mind blowing. You think he's seen everything they could offer you, and then it's like, what? Like another level. It was just like, holy
another
shit.
level that I think that nobody is we haven't touched on yet is how Phish brought all of us together. And it's not just with our group. I saw it happening with everybody's crew that was there that met up, and everybody was in like the amount of time you got to spend with your people, and then like we get to have this collective effervescence and talk about it and like keep it alive. That shit is like manna to our souls. That was a totally soul recharging on multiple levels. Like it was like dope to see. It was amazing to listen to. But then you got your heart filled by like people that are into the same shit that you are and can keep talking about it. Like this is, we'll all listen back and like in a month or a year and be like, dang, that like it'll bring you back
to that collective.
And Phish does that like on a regular basis. They bring people together to like be able to have this shared experience. And that's one of the dopest things that I was like tripping on this whole weekend. Like there was a moment when me and Aaron were laying on our bed and we had like, I don't know how many fucking people were in the
50
room.
people in the suite.
And we just looked at each other and I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? Like, what? How did this even happen? And it was such a blessing. And I was like, Phish, this couldn't have happened without that like strong magnetic pull from the band that makes people like spend thousands of dollars, travel for one night and then leave the next morning, stay up till 8 a.m. And like, we're doing all these crazy things for this band. And that's what kind of tripped me out too. They're not asking for it. They didn't ask nobody to do none of that, but we're literally happily sacrificing our creature comforts and going to do extreme stuff to say we were there and to like have that experience.
What were you going to say, Meg? I saw you getting ready to go.
I'm just geeking at the fact that Sean and I are still with you guys.
Hell yeah.
We're still in the
Like
spirit.
hearing what you have to say, you know, everyone travels back to their own respective homes, and you call and FaceTime and text about it for days, weeks, months to get that feeling back. And it felt psychotic when we asked you if we could just fly back to Portland with you guys. But now,
like,
I'm just
psychotic.
now we've been able to just bask in that feeling and in the memories for, what day are we on? We've been here for like 5 days now.
Yeah, it's almost, I don't know,
Yeah.
days.
This is
Insert number here.
no, new level. It's been so great.
Yeah.
It's been so great.
No, it had that's what I mean. Like the full feeling of what the experience conjured up.
Mhm.
It's like eating the best like cake or stew or drinking the best drink and just having the enjoyment of that like in your body.
Well, and then the collective, you touched on a little, the collective experience, like I was kind of bummed. This was different. And then everybody, like Darren came in Saturday. I didn't get a chance to see Jordan. I was there Sunday, but the collective experience, like when we were walking in and you and Aaron are like, okay, you go that way. We're going to go this way down to floor. Like we went our separate ways and we were all kind of scattered throughout the sphere, but you felt like you were with all your people because of it, because of the energy being collected and thrown on the screen and back. And it like, I felt like everybody was there. And that was the dope thing too, is as soon as you started going down that hallway into the sphere, all of a sudden you were Phish. Like Trey created that ambient guitar music that was playing like in the lobby. I felt like, I think it was Cody or Andrew. We looked at it, was like, I feel like a little kid again going on Space Mountain at Disneyland for the first time. The atmosphere, the air smelled cleaner.
So what's crazy is you're describing that like it sounded like spa music to me, and it made me feel like I was getting ready to do a treatment.
Yeah,
it like put me in a mindset like I was gonna go go heal somebody. No, it's true. Like I'm not. I guess because that's where my head is at a lot of the time. That's what happens to me or whatever. But like I felt that I felt him like cleaning out my heart like with notes, and it was physical.
You went through a car wash.
I went through a car wash.
Like, quite literally.
Legit did.
You washed your Uffizi.
Well, I think, don't you guys think you were there for like 4 days? I felt it on the one. It affected everybody, like security.
Oh yeah,
and all the people that worked there,
cocktail waitresses.
They were in it, and they
There's
were
no choice.
They were laughing, and they were part of it too. Yeah, you had no choice.
Staff.
You were in the ship.
They were a great staff.
Absolutely, that needs to be pointed out.
Venue Llama.
Well, yeah, that was. It was just super cool. You know, a lot of venues. You know, you'll encounter some cool staff, or by the end of a run, there's always like that one person usher who's like rocking out by the end of the run. but here in Vegas, they were all in my experience, and from most people I talked to, the staff was just super helpful. They were excited to be there. They were like nice to have conversations with. They were funny. They were signs. Yeah, the signs that said, "May I
Everyone
assist you?"
appreciated those signs.
Yeah, I tried to buy one.
You did?
He was going to charge me $100.
Oh damn!
Fortunately, I didn't have that on me. I probably would have.
You would have done it.
Probably would have done it, but.
Wait, what was the sign?
How may I assist you?
Oh, okay.
Well,
If you charged for your diversion, you would have been able to just pay for it.
Well, I was thinking I would just hang out at the restaurant, like Fire the Mountain, that could be my new job. Just hold that up.
May I help you?
But like another thing about just being there in that venue, like not many venues, like pretty much everybody is flying in to see Phish in Vegas.
Right.
You know, I mean, like you go to, people are always flying in or driving in from out of town, but there's not, you know, you go see a show in Atlanta. There's a lot of Atlanta folks there.
Right.
But Vegas, it's like
It's not a heavy Phish.
Pretty much
crowd.
everybody is coming from out of town, and everybody and it's also expensive. You know, there's a lot of people that didn't get to experience this because it's kind of
cost prohibitive.
Yeah, and I think that getting a little bit off track, but I could see Phish maybe like in the future doing like a longer run, just to making it just
more accessible.
More accessible to people.
Well, Trey's listening.
Well, because people should. I think people, if you're any kind of a music fan, need to listen to this, and and not listen to this, needs to go experience this. Is what I meant. Like anybody who likes music can benefit from seeing this show and being like, it's a show, not a concert. That's what I think.
It's an experience.
A lot of people kind of had to kind of get their head. You're not going to, like you were talking about the calling of the songs, like it didn't matter. It didn't matter because it was an experience that was happening. You're not seeing the same thing. You're not witnessing the same thing. They're doing something that they've never done. And to like try to have you respond the same way, it wouldn't even make any sense.
To me, that came through in the music too. They played most of the songs differently than you've ever heard them. There was something a little different about it and everything. And I think again, it was like that collective energy that they were harnessing, and it was a trip.
Commented on the live Phish app. I think it was on the first show. I just said Phish 5.0 is here. That was my comment. We were talking about it on the ride home last night. Like, I feel like in Mexico, they did something musically that I had never heard Phish do before. There was a level past type 3.
It's an alien language.
Yeah. The music just became like a wall of information that was happening, which is weird. Way past type 3. And I kind of experienced it at Dick's with the Split Open and Melt on the Saturday night, I think it was, this last year. I think that was like my first taste of that, and it shook me when it happened. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's different.
I got it at the MSG run, the 7-night in July. And I took some friends one night who had never even listened to Phish.
Oh, shit.
And afterwards, they were like, I don't know what that was. It was incredible, and I want more of it.
Right? Yeah. But I feel like that all that was leading up to the experience of the sphere. That's what
they're like practicing for that.
I don't know if that's even like a conscious thing. I think that like all my life I always thought, especially when I was seeing the Dead, I was like, wow, they do this. They're like practicing to make this thing happen for us. And after this weekend, I'm not so sure that that's the case anymore. I think that they show up, and whatever force that's controlling the universe that's out there, if the elements are right, if the pieces are in the right place, that thing can come through and do whatever it does. And I feel like this band in that place created a really unique environment for that thing to come through in a very real, stable kind of a way. I remember when the Pollock crown was spinning out over the fucking crowd with no 3D glasses, and I was laughing and crying maniacally.
That ruined me.
Yeah. The thought that was in my head was like, I've waited my whole life for this moment. This is the moment that I've been waiting for. I'm standing physically inside my own dream right now. Like, what the fuck is going on?
And I think that, like what you were saying, like all the forces combined, but like one of those forces is the fact that they have been together for 40 years and have played together so many shows, and just be,
they're still best friends.
Yeah, brothers, since way back when in Vermont. Like all that stuff just helps to allow that to happen.
Yeah.
That's a good point, because you cannot get that level of
synergy.
Yes, without being with somebody for a long time and kind of knowing their moves and knowing where their eyebrows are going to take us next, like
That's true.
There you go, Jordan. No, right? Like we know.
It's a trip to Monday night. Me and Connor ended up because we could stream YouTube at the link. We ended up what is the Hotel Oblivion?
No,
or the Bittersweet Hotel. Yeah, okay. We watched that Monday night. Like a flashback to 30 years ago of them doing their thing, and now they're talking about it. It's a trip to see what these guys have done and how they've. And Trey says it in that he's like, we're so on point because we managed to stay best friends all the time, and you see it.
Oh yeah, you can see it on stage.
That's very rare to really see that with somebody that's ran as long as they've done. They're best friends. They crack each other up. They nerd out with each other, and
So night one encore was the fucking
was it?
Farmhouse, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
So-
Farmhouse and
Antelope. So the Farmhouse, I know that everybody clowns Farmhouse, and if you listen to No Simple Road, you know that Farmhouse is very special to us.
It felt like the Gorge again because they played so many songs from my first show at the Gorge that it felt like I was redoing Phish again, but that was my first experience because it was like fucking Farmhouse,
the Northern
Antelope.
Lights visual was absolutely.
Oh my!
I feel like I've seen the Northern Lights now, and I also feel like I've been to the barn, like for real. They brought us to the barn to show us what that was for them. That's fucking mind melting right there. Anybody listening or watching, I'm curious what anybody else thinks about this. Like, for me, I don't know what anybody else's experience was. We've only talked a little bit about it, actually. But on the first night, after they turned on the Sphere, and I realized what was going on, I don't remember what song it was, but there was like big square panels of each band member rotating.
Maze.
What was it?
It was a maze.
Maze. And then right after that, there was these like big red
That was awesome.
spotlights with each band member in the spotlight. And as that was happening, I could literally feel the music going through whoever band member they had highlighted. So like Trey was highlighted last, but it was like Mike shows up and I could feel the bass notes pouring through Mike and then into us. And I was like, okay, that's what it feels like to be Mike playing in Phish. That's weird. And then Fishman comes up, and the way they do the sound in there, they're highlighting each instrument as the person's highlighted up on the stage. So I'm like, okay, now I'm Fishman. And by the end of that song, like I knew what Phish felt like in that room playing for us. I was like, oh, wow, that's new. I've not had that before. Anybody have that kind of trip there? Anybody else? No,
Nope, just
I did
you
not, but it
solo.
makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's just me.
I'd
Then.
say I wasn't there that night, but I
Not so
felt that
collective.
Sunday night when they were like floating. It was like they were apparitions floating.
Oh, yeah,
out
and they were
from
like
the
melting.
screen, and they were melting,
Yeah.
and then one of them would get brighter and come forward, and then go back, and yeah, I definitely got that feeling.
Okay, so I want to go through and just ask everybody what their most special moment was over the weekend for whatever show.
Impossible
Yes.
question to answer.
It's kind of possible.
Yes.
It's kind of
Yes.
possible. Meg, we'll start with you.
Oh
Oy
my
vey.
god.
No pressure.
You can have 50 of them, but
Probably-
just talk about one.
You have all day.
Probably when Twist was playing and there were all the letters.
And we went, woo!
Yes. And my good friend Marina, who actually introduced Sean and I,
She's an
She-
angel.
she's the best. She got a flight out to Vegas like 2 days before the run. And every step in which how she ended up at the show was an absolute miracle. And instead of it being like this sentimental moment, like we just laughed the entire time we were together, and her Instagram name is Woo Factor.
Oh no.
And so it just says "woo" up on the screen. I have this
In balloons.
the best video of her just being like, and you can see "woo" behind her head, and that was absolutely the best moment of the whole run.
Okay. Not playing her leg like Trey's guitar?
Second best.
Okay. Mel, you asked the question. Let's do the round table.
I didn't expect this.
I was not prepared.
Here's my list.
We can come back to you.
Gosh, it is kind of really hard because there was some pretty amazing moments up there with just you and I on like, I think night 2 on Mike's side, even though we didn't like that side the best, I think the most, I felt like that was like the most healing I got of the run. Like we were by ourselves. We were so stoked because all of our friends were around and we were kind of like in awe of everything.
And we'd been through it once before. So
yeah.
We kind of knew.
And like the songs that they were like Prince Caspian and freaking Velvet Sea.
That's not a moment. That's a night. Pick a moment.
No, the moment was that
night.
It was that like second set, that underwater, like that we had just had that circle and we're playing dreidel in that circle. Like that was
so dope.
It just kind of like put this pinnacle on like
The wrong holiday.
Well, we still did it and it was fun. But yeah, it was just like we were being introduced to people that we'd never met and we had all our posse there, but we weren't with any of them.
Mm-hmm.
And we had this like newfound people and like I said, it felt like my first Phish show, but like upgraded and Gorge is pretty spectacular on its own. Like the Gorge is its own sphere.
You can bring the Gorge this sphere, no problem.
But like just being able to hear those songs again in that, like, I don't know, just in that area and in that time and with those people, and like that was
special.
It was really special, and to see you kind of laugh, being crazy, maniacal, excited. I felt like, I know when you get like that we grow leaps and bounds in our marriage, and so I was excited for it because I know that when you have those moments, like huge things happen for us.
Cool.
I love your love.
Oh, hell yeah.
Nice.
It was fun. Phish is cool.
You guys
Apple?
I think we'd come back to Aaron.
No, I got it. I'll get it
Himself.
together. Shut up, Mel.
What? I said a moment and
I know,
now
you got me.
The moment ends.
The moment ends.
My
ends.
moment of the run wasn't in the sphere, actually.
Room Yem.
Yep. Yep. So we had a
A
party.
teaser over there.
Was it on night 3?
We had a party every
Yeah, it
night.
was night 3.
We
It
had a
was every
party
night.
in our suite on night 3, and there was like probably
Or wait, night 4?
Night 4 was also amazing, but
Night 4 we
It was
did
night
a
four.
we
It was
played a
four.
Oh, it
Yam
was
and
night
we were
four.
listening
You're
to
right.
Ween.
Yeah, it was night
okay.
four.
So that was
night
last
four.
night.
Yeah.
We had a party
Four.
in our room. There was a bunch of people in there, and it was Sax and Cam and Naveed and these two and these guys
And you were there.
and you were there, Tin Man, and you were there, and it was just our whole family. And I was laying on the couch, and Andrew put on the Beacon Jams Yem, and I swear that I was making Yem happen with my knee at that point, and we were all in a collective bubble above the coffee table, communicating without talking with each other. And it was the funniest, silliest, coolest experience I've ever had in my life. And this Yem was playing, and it sounded like it was coming from angels' trumpets or something. Because there's like strings in the Beacon Jams, and there's background singers and whatever. And it was like being in heaven and having Phish serenade you in heaven with all the people that you love the most in the entire world, and you're comfortable, and you're home. Like, best shit ever. And it wouldn't happen without having the sphere happen first, because that
the sphere came to our room.
that breaking
room
open
312.
carried over into the room that brought us all together in a bubble above the room, talking without using your lips. And that was my moment from the sphere. Apple?
That's pretty amazing. My was the same night. It was Cam wearing a bathrobe.
And drinking a White
Next.
Russian.
That was the funniest
I
because
love that
walking
was
back
the
in
best,
like so
dude.
casual, but they that night. But
It was so special.
For me, it was one of the kind of like we always say, like the aha moment. It was 3 songs in when Ghost happened, because all the things I did in preparation to be ready to enjoy the Sphere had all taken effect, and then Ghost came on, and because that was the first song I got to hear when everybody, all 17,000 something people are singing. It's trapped in there. Yeah, the way it bounces around, the sing-alongs, I never heard it that way, like so loud. And so where the band was just several times, that happened. Where was it when they did Character Zero at the end of set 1, and also when they did the Down with Disease in set 2.
Oh my God.
The singing, they stopped. There was points where they just didn't sing, and they kind of stepped back and just smiled and looked at what was going on, and we took over the singing. And it was so fucking loud. It was just like, holy shit. Like you said, the light, it was like being outdoors sometimes. Like you looked over, it was like being in a park. The light was just lit up everybody. You could see the expressions on everybody's faces.
Is the Ghost the robots?
Everywhere. Yeah, that was the robots with like the electricity going through them. And then they did that, like the one knelt down and the spotlight eyes came out on the one section of the crowd. And
he had this little heart in his chest.
Yeah, one of them had the heart. Yeah, they each had little symbols like in their chest. But that goes three songs in, and the rest of the night was just like, you're in it. Like Aaron said, you felt like the band, and the way they did the graphics were just amazing. They like took the crowd, spun it, threw it on there. And I know there's one point in the second set where I forget what maybe it wasn't Divided Sky. It was towards the end. Probably like Light, Ether Edge, where there was the black hole. It was like the portal spinning behind the band. And I remember me and Shaw, Shaw look at each other, and what somebody said, I could die right now.
Like, that thing sucks us up.
I'm good.
We just smile at each other and be like going into the black hole to see where that takes us.
Right on, bro.
Yeah.
If you jump, I'll jump.
No shit. That's why there's no capes allowed in the Sphere now. I can't believe that's a fucking policy.
Ridiculous.
That they have to say that. No capes.
Really?
Oh yeah, there's a no cape policy at the Sphere now.
But if you label it a cloak, I think
yes, if it's a cloak or
I guess
or a shawl,
maybe it would be like a trip hazard, or you could.
No, it's a trip hazard. They don't want you to fly.
Okay.
Yeah, no flying.
Are any of you cape wearers anyway?
No, I'm not a cape.
I mean, should you be wearing a cape?
I would.
Why not?
Yeah, me and Mel have been talking about making capes for 7 years.
Yeah,
if I get one, I want it to be like this big, like the size of a napkin.
We see materials.
You look great in that.
All right, it's Sean's turn, guys.
You trying to show yourself?
No, I wanted to talk about 2001.
Okay. Go ahead, Sean.
I have 4, but I'm going to say 3.
Okay.
Room Yum is one of them. So we already talked about that. Another one would be Night 2 during Lonely Trip, which is a song that Meg and I like connected on very early in our relationship. It came on, and my immediate response was like, she needs to be here. FaceTimed her, put the phone right here. It was so quiet in that room that I could hear her and her friend Sue's like giggling and whispering.
I was actually crying, but I'm glad it sounded like a giggle.
It was like
whatever you were doing. That was one. Another would be just the underwater set in
Caspian
theme, and being with not you, Jordan, my best friend / business partner who I've known since 3rd grade, Jordan, and us just hugging, being like, how the fuck are we here right now?
No kidding.
Cool. Yeah. There was one more. Oh, during Taste, realizing that all the art was Jim Pollock's art, and that like clicked something in my brain, which I think a lot of our friends were thinking. I was like, wow, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Like, Dogs in a Pile are going to play this thing one day, and Andrew Sachs's art is going to be.
Oh my gosh!
Yep, I thought the same
and
thing.
I was like, holy shit, this is.
Wow,
can you imagine Sachs's art up there?
Yes, I can.
Totally.
Yes. I absolutely can imagine that.
And there were like 10 more best.
Yeah.
But I got to throw one in because he just made me think of it.
You already went.
Seeing Andrew since Cascade Equinox last September. And then I don't even remember what song it was. It was after Goat when we're just standing there for like half a song with our arms just around each other, like singing at each other and to the band, and just smiling and that connecting with Andrew again and Cam and Sean and Meg, because that just
we were like
it's rolling deep.
Cam and I were like, wonder what Apple's doing down there. We gotta go.
Then you guys
I can't
popped
believe
up.
we
That
all
was
made it to where you were, and that there
that
was
was
room
magic.
for all of us to close
Light.
the second set too. That was really special.
Yeah,
I missed Light for that. I still have to go back and listen to it, but it was so worth being
getting down there.
Jordan.
Yeah, it's a really tough question, but it's great because it's like making you
relive it.
Yeah, man.
which I haven't stopped doing really.
Seriously.
But yeah, you just get so lost in the music, that it's hard to remember. But a couple like musical moments I remember, like during like Chalk Dust and during 46 Days.
Oh yeah,
where it was just the whole place was just straight ahead rock and roll, and everybody was just
getting down,
dialed in. And those songs, they're awesome songs. Like right now, I feel like those songs are just like being played better than ever. But like visually, there was like a point where they projected the band up like in fragmented purple colors. Like they were like, I don't know, pixelated or whatever. I thought that was pretty amazing. And then it's kind of like maybe trite by now, but the dog.
That was the funniest shit ever, man.
Just like we were talking about the collective effervescence and like the place, during Chalk Dust or whatever, the whole place is rocking out at the same time. Then like you're at a Phish show and there's like a 500-foot dog on the screen licking a windshield, and you just hear a collective laugh. We watched it. We watched it last night on YouTube,
and you could hear people like just out every like 30 seconds. You'd hear somebody far away being like, "That's a good boy."
Whoever's dog that is, they're stoked.
Yeah, some of our friends like have a dog looks exactly like that. After the show, they're like, "This is our dog Porky." A dead ringer. But I mean, that was just like Phish. They're historically like pretty whimsical at times, but that was like one thing that stuck out.
Yes.
To me, about this run, it's like they weren't very silly Phish or whimsical. They were like, they meant business. They didn't talk a whole lot. Not that they do these days, but there was no, like Fishmen running around the stage and all that. They knew what they were playing, and they were meant business. And but then in classic Phish fashion, there was a huge
fucking dog.
Like, at the
that was
Sphere.
so special.
Yeah. So buy your T-shirts, everybody, because they're
going fast.
20% off.
Darren?
Well, I have many, of course. Like this guy, I can't just
go
down to one.
There's no way.
I'd say first of all, was seeing yet another show with this guy, Jordan Bush.
Oh,
we've seen
the national treasure.
We're talking of you as a national treasure after you left the hotel room on Saturday night. Seriously.
Yeah, no kidding.
One of my favorite people to see a show with ever, and I've been seeing shows with this guy for 25 years, and there was just
dope.
100 million times during the show that we turned to each other and talked about it, and even got shushed a couple times. But, it just had to be done because I love this guy. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for getting me there, and thanks for the efforts. And as always, I don't care where we are, if it's the Sphere, Madison Square Garden, the Gorge, Red Rocks, when the lights go out, that's always a moment for me. Always a moment, because you know what's coming and you don't know what's coming.
Yes.
And it's just always one of, up until the Sphere, I'd say the lights going out for the Dead in Madison Square Garden is one of my favorite moments that I've ever experienced. But this will top that,
Whoa.
Wow.
This may top that.
I understand that.
Musically, Jordan took it from me. Chalk Dust Torture was where it was at for me that night. I mean, at least one of the shining moments. I mean, that place was getting down. It was like we walked into the Sphere from our sphere outside, walking on the earth into their perfect sphere inside of Phish, and everything that we were experiencing there. And that, I will never forget that. And The Golden Age was another, the only cover of the weekend. Am I correct on that?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
There was another one? Oh, okay. Yeah, right. Okay. Right. And then
They own it now.
I'd say
Phish owns that.
To wrap it up, it was really special. Even the first night that I wasn't there, being at home, live streaming with my girlfriend Jenny.
Aww.
We felt like we were there with all of you guys, and I could feel that. I mean, it was.
That's
I could
dope.
taste it. I could feel it. I could smell it because we had been there before, And I just, I thought about all of you that night. You know
Hell
what I mean?
yeah.
And like we felt really good about it. And then whenever I was there with y'all on Saturday night, she was at home with a friend watching our live stream, so I kind of felt like she was there with me as well.
We
that was
mentioned her too. We talked about her. Yeah.
and it was just, I mean, that was really special to me as well. And I just those are some special moments. No,
we're very past you.
Darren and I actually had one of the weirdest things, maybe the weirdest thing that happened all weekend. We were in the elevator getting out. I don't know if we were before the show. And there was a bunch of people in the elevator. As we're getting out of the elevator, this guy says to Darren or us, "Are you like as we're already like out of the elevator? Are you guys friends?"
What?
And we're both like, "Wait, what did you say?" Darren turned around and said, "What?" He said, "Are you guys friends?" And like the door closed. And they left wondering like why
You'll never
he
possess anybody to ask that question.
did it seem like we weren't friends?
Oh my God.
Or maybe he was trying to affirm the fact that for you to say it, like, yes, we're
Or
friends.
maybe he saw the love and just saw
Yeah.
the connection.
That's
I don't
fucking
know.
funny.
and he'll never know. He's left hanging. He doesn't know.
He's still in the elevator.
So that 2001, I wanted to go back to it because that was
Oh, shit.
pretty incredible. We were sitting there with our new crew that we had just made up, and all of us collectively and individually said that we wanted to hear 2001.
Yeah, at set break, I was like, okay, what does everybody want to see? I know it doesn't matter, but if you had your pick, what would you want to see? And everybody was like, oh, definitely a 2001.
They needed a
You knew it
dance
was
party
coming.
song. Yeah.
So then we were all imaginarily put it on our vision
that
board.
lady goes, we're going to all put it on
Katie.
our vision boards right now. Everybody put it on your vision board.
And
Like,
so
okay.
we did. And Aaron's like, well, are we going to be pissed if it doesn't happen? I was like, why would you say that? It's going to happen. We're going to make it happen. I think it was like 2 songs in. It started and everything felt like slow motion. It was like, yeah.
It's like a climax that
But
you knew was gonna be
it
the
just,
last night,
yes.
right
And it was
point.
amazing. And that collective magic that happens when we're all feeling, expecting, and hoping the same thing to happen, and then it fucking finally happens. I don't know that there's anything better than that. I can't.
I fully expected the visuals for that to be like a spaceship flying through space.
Yeah.
And I
Space
thought
Odyssey.
what they did was so much cooler.
What was it?
It was an homage to CK5. Like they had
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
visuals of his light ray in space playing. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Did you have something?
Right. So I think leading up to 2001 was Beneath the Sea of Stars.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I remember busting out my phone really quick to text you guys because we got that at Mexico and it was just so special. And then you read your letter to Phish.
Yeah.
That song came up. I'm going to get emotional just talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
It's
is.
like
The good shit.
we were in a different spot thinking about you guys.
Yes.
And yeah. It was really
I
special.
definitely
did-
felt that.
Did they every night you were there for the 4 days? Several of you did they do a little acoustic every night? Because I know night 4
Twice.
Yeah.
Okay, because
Yeah,
when
he
he
did it
down, he
twice.
did the sea of stars.
But that was like, it
or
took me
beneath
back
the
to
sea of stars. That
Mexico
was like,
and
wow.
the wind, whatever.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, there's wind in the
there was
sphere, by the
wind.
way, everybody.
And it felt like
Yeah,
we
the
were,
Florida.
like my feet were in the sand in
Mhm.
Mexico. And I was like remembering that
It was
letter
like
that
the
I
same
wrote.
exact temperature.
It was. It felt.
all of it.
They planned it all.
The temperature was very pleasant.
Yes.
in there.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Yeah.
One thing, just like talking about, not that I need to keep talking about venue stuff, but everything was fucking awesome except for like the bathrooms. They could use some more bathrooms there. But like,
okay.
I don't know. What did you guys think?
They
of
they need to have an actual water fill station. They do have drinking fountains. You can fill up water there, and they were directing.
They're
people
primitive
to them. It's just a drinking fountain. Hey man, you spent $2 billion on building a bubble that takes you to the metaverse. Maybe throw in a fucking bottle
filtered water system.
The water was so cheap there. It was really cold.
This was interesting. I'm looking at Phish.net. I just noticed that the descriptions of the concerts, because everything they did, but it's saying here every night was a state of matter. The first night was a matter type was solid.
Oh.
The second night, the matter type was liquid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Night 3, the matter type was gas.
Oh.
And then the last night, the matter type was plasma.
Of course it was.
That makes sense.
Okay, that's
all right.
great.
Now we know.
I appreciate the .NET notes for recording the visuals that went with every song.
Oh my gosh.
Being able to read back, put the entire run into perfect little chapters for me.
Yes.
Where everything was blending together, and I just shout out to .NET.
Should we talk about Drew Carey, because that was a huge part of the Phish Phish-tory of the sphere.
Yeah.
Drew Carey got sprung.
It was like a microcosm and a macrocosm in our Phish world, because Sean had introduced us to one of his friends who's so dope. So shout out Avi. And he was telling us his experience with Drew Carey and his wife, going to the show together. But then it became a huge thing.
Yeah,
in media.
After the show, Sean was like, "Yeah, I hung out with Drew Carey tonight. It was fun." And then this shit just blew up.
A friend of Avi's who used to work with his wife went with Drew Carey, and night 2, I think it was before the show, he was just texted Jordan and I, and he's like, "You want to meet Drew Carey?" And I was like, "Sure." So we walked down there, and he's in the best seat in the house, 2 rows back, uncovered. And I didn't want to bother the guy. I was just like, "Hey, nice to meet you." And then he engaged with us and started talking and was like, "I came to the U2 shows, and as soon as I saw those shows, I immediately bought all 4 Phish tickets.
Oh my
Never heard
gosh.
of Phish. I don't care. I'm never missing a show in this building again." And then after seeing Phish night 1, he was like, "I want my money back from U2." He could not speak highly enough. He didn't know any of the songs, obviously. He was like, "I fell to my knees laughing during that one song that ends boo."
Maze, yeah.
So it was so cool hearing all of that from him and seeing how nice and engaging he was. And then I had no idea what was about to unfold on Twitter. And
Dude.
No, well, and then I heard Joe Rogan was talking to a comedian. I don't remember his name. And he got a couple little facts wrong. He was like, "They're doing a 6-night residency." No, they're not. It was 4 nights, not a residency. It's a run. Okay, whatever. But it's in the main everything, the main stratosphere, the mainstream, whatever. People are talking about it. It will never be the same.
I saw
it. You know what I mean?
Totally.
This is a something that was hidden in plain sight for so long, but didn't really cause a ruckus in the main, out there. But
I saw an article that said, "Little known band from Vermont blows the sphere up in Vegas." And I'm like, little known band from Vermont, huh?
Wonder how they got the Sphere gig.
Right. But I'll tell you what.
Nice point, Meg.
Those people at my work that are like, "You go see who?" all know who fucking Phish is now. That's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing happened to my girlfriend at work. People were talking to her about me having been there, asking her questions about it. You know,
so it's going to be even harder to get tickets now.
It was a big deal.
Great.
It was a big deal.
I had to step out for a second, but I wanted to back up and say we were talking about Drew Carey. I want to personally thank Drew Carey for a lot of celebrities that would have done what he did and posted those tweets would have backtracked and been like, "I didn't know what was going on.
I was high."
He leaned into it, was like, "Oh yeah, that's what fucking happened. I took mushroom goo from a stranger and I kissed God and he kissed me and I'm a Phish fan forever." And thank you,
It's
Drew.
true.
He owned it.
And
because people were like, he's the
that's a real Phish
he's
fan.
The host
You own
of The
it.
Price is Right.
That's
There's
real.
some of a
Thank you, Drew
conservative
Carey.
audience. He might turn them off. He's like, I'm fucking Drew Carey, and I had a blast, man. Fucking, he owned it. That was dope.
I gotta call out that Trey continues to astound and amaze me with his level of class
and humor,
style, and humor. To send, not only did he send Drew Carey a blender to blend his dick in, he sent him a fucking Vitamix, right?
Quality.
It's not just some like Oster bullshit that you got at Walmart.
$500 blender.
Yeah, that's or more.
Oh, it's about
signed it in silver Sharpie. Like that's
Like a
classy.
That's
I
so
think that
classy.
amazes
Mountains
me
of
is that
love.
Trey has gotten to the level where he could just that quickly just get Drew Carey's address.
Oh yeah.
That's and have that delivered. Well, and then we were talking about, because they don't talk a whole lot from stage, but that night 4 when he took the tight
That was
talk,
so beautiful.
He talked for about 5 minutes or so, thanking everybody that had anything to do with any of that, and it was so sweet. He was
so
he was
nervous
almost
and
teared up
heartfelt
and nervous, like saying it, but you could just feel the love.
I gotta
like,
go now too. This
Yeah,
is
insane.
everybody's peeing.
Next.
I would say too, just how you're talking about like people from mainstream culture, hearing things about Phish. I feel like it was back when they did the Baker's Dozen, and
Oh
just
yeah.
a quote from somebody in Metallica, just being blown away that like, wait, they did 13 nights and didn't repeat a song.
I've seen
Like,
that video where Metallica's practicing, and they're like,
Yeah.
they didn't repeat a song.
Yeah,
What
they were blown away,
Who the?
and now they just keep doing these things that people that don't know them now in normal culture, like in the future, it's great that we have this scene that it's big, but it's also small at the same time.
Yep.
But I think in the future, people are gonna look back, and these guys are creating rock and roll history.
Yeah.
And to be a part of it with everybody is an amazing thing.
It's the best shit ever.
Yep.
All right, before we go, one takeaway from the weekend. One thing that you got from your time inside of a metaverse bubble with the best band on the planet. Darren, go first.
I just felt so much love that it has not left, and it is still, can't stop thinking about it, talking about it, feeling it, resharing it, talking to friends who were actually at the show I was at but didn't have time to get to hook up with because there were other things going on. I had several friends there that I didn't see,
Right.
wasn't able to see.
Same.
And talking to them afterwards, there's just been so much love created from one experience, one place, one band, one show, and I still feel that right now. And
Me too,
I'm
man.
just happy to be here with all of you, and glad I got the chance to spend the time with all of you at the show, except for Apple. So,
And afterwards.
yeah, and afterwards,
Having a smoke
Dude,
with you
that
at
was-
4:00 in the morning in the Venetian.
trying to walk down the hall
So
and
fucking
down the
best.
elevator.
So
and-
fun, dude.
Yeah, I remember that. It was
So
good
fun,
times.
yeah.
Just lots
Me,
of love.
you, and Darren, us, and Jamie being the 4 people that
Left.
ended it out.
That's right.
That was
that's right.
special to me.
Listening to some Radiohead songs.
And that song
song's
that-
Skin Diving by James, one of the most psychedelic songs ever written as far
Hell
as I'm
yeah.
concerned. That was good fun, and I was happy to share that with you guys. So the takeaway I have is just love. That's what I'll have to say
Aw.
about that.
Jordan,
That's real.
it's beautiful, man.
That's
I
dope.
would say the pita that we had at Ms. No.
Oh, dude, that was that brisket, man.
Oh, I still can't stop thinking about that. But I think for me, I just remember back in the day when I just started seeing Phish, like in the early 90s, and, still seeing dead shows at that point, and just like thinking, like, what is the limit with these guys? Like,
That's a
these
good
guys-
question.
I'm like, this was like in 93 or 94. I'm like, this is just, it's, where can these guys go? It seems like the sky is the limit. And then like being at Clifford Ball and like being part of like 70,000 people. It's like, we have something crazy going on here. Like, what's going to happen with all this? And then what happened, and it kind of crashed down.
Yeah, they
for
crashed
a
the car.
while and it stopped. And just now, just what they are doing, like with just all that they've done, like they get to these points where, like Big Cypress, and it's like I think even then at that time they were like, well, what else are we gonna do? But I think at this point they still are figuring out ways to just like find that next thing and push the envelope. And like we're talking about like Baker's Dozen, they did that, and now they did this. And you're like, what could they do next? But I think that you just have faith in them at this point that they're gonna figure something out. that's gonna blow our minds. I mean, even just a regular show, you know.
I'm excited for a Dix Run, man. Let's go.
Yeah, but just the amount of creativity that these guys have, and like what you guys saying, like the love that they have for each other and the fans, and they're just dedicating their lives to the experience
to us.
Yeah. So that's
good.
That's beautiful, man. Nice. Right on, Sean.
I have a couple takeaways. One being how lucky we are to exist during this time. Like, how did we get so lucky to experience this out of all the years that have happened on this planet? And the other thing, I thought it was specific to being in the sphere at the moment, but going to Rhythm's Ground yesterday, shout out Ben and Tiff.
Fuck yeah.
Incredible property they've created there. I felt like I was still in the sphere. And I realized last night that it's not about the venue or the music, it's the people and that feeling that travels with you from show to show.
Yep.
And I'm so excited for Mondegreen now to see
man.
to do there.
Aliens.
Whatever they do.
Aliens. Dude.
Nice.
Well, it's like Jordan almost said, I had it in my mind before Darren even went, in one little phrase, no limitations is what they did. It's like, in comparison, like Pandora's box, like it has now been opened. There are no limitations, not just on Phish, but on us and our love and our ripples going out. Like that tore the roof off it. It collected, you were trying to explain to me before the show Sunday, in words, I can't put it in where you're like, wait till you see. And then what I experienced is they took the magic and they brought it like to life, bathed us in it and themselves, spun it around, spit us out, fucking, and the magic is everywhere. It came here with all of us. Even though I missed Darren, I didn't get to see Jordan. We all had this collective experience, even though we weren't there on the same days. We're all like bathed in it now, and they open the box. It's like, what are they going to do next? It doesn't matter. What do we do next? It doesn't matter. It's all love and light.
Yeah. You gotta do something to hobble yourself a little bit, man. Like, yeah.
It's made the world a better place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Darren.
Well, it's definitely made my world a better place.
We make the world a better place.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
They need to build a bigger sphere.
They need to put one in every city.
Roll it to Mondegreen.
Yeah. Roll it to Portland.
That'd be dope. A portable one. You just drive it down the road real slowly, town to town.
Wide load.
Spherical load.
Well, not to be all heavy and everything, but like, whatever. My whole life, like, ever since my first Dead show, has been a journey of like self-discovery, like all of us, and unfolding layers of like who I am and what I do and what I'm good at, and struggling with self-confidence issues and stuff like that. And this weekend I got a look. Sorry. Get my shit together. I got to look at what No Simple Road is doing, and like from the outside. And I realized that it started with me. So seeing myself completely different after this, like completely different. And like that nagging sense of self-consciousness and that voice that talks shit is fucking dead.
Yeah.
and I'm just like in my shit, owning it for the first time in 52 years, and it feels so fucking good. So
it fits well and looks
so
good.
yeah,
Phish
was dope.
Can I woo to that?
Yeah,
Woo!
Phish was dope.
Shout out Marina.
Yeah, nice, Aaron. I mean, I'll say, just like walking to the Sphere with you guys and seeing people that just know you from that you haven't met, that have listened to your podcast and recognize you just from seeing you online, and just these guys here right now who you met through that, and now we've met them, and it just keeps growing. But it is amazing what you guys have created, and it's just this scene. There's just so much room for people to. And I guess there's just so many people that you meet, that just so many interesting folks, and that's such a huge part of it for me. Going to these shows, the stories that people have. They're such unique people that are kind of living life on their own terms.
Yes.
Or people that want to, and they're inspired to do that. And it's pretty amazing. I think that's the thing too. It's like what I was talking about earlier. Like I felt like this community had so much potential, like Phish, and then it got a little ugly there for a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it's thriving right now.
It's on all cylinders, dude.
And then there's younger folks that are still getting into Phish, and a lot of us have matured and grown up, and it's just a great mix, and it's a pretty cool thing to behold right now.
Yeah,
Like
there was,
Sean said, like to be alive right now,
which is great.
there was always like, I would never let myself like be like, yeah, I started No Simple Road. Would never let myself do. I was always like, oh shucks, that wasn't me, man. No, not doing that anymore. And I had a moment when we were all like laid out on the bed. I remembered back to when I first left to go on tour with the Dead, and there was this cat, Captain Ed. And Captain Ed had long gray hair and a big long beard. He looked like a fucking wizard, and he dressed in all tie-dye, and he drove this 35-foot international school bus that looked like Further, and he owned the very first head shop in the San Fernando Valley, Captain Ed's. And he was so fucking awesome with us. Like we were all these young kids that had just gotten our minds blown for the first time and like took off and went on tour. And he like watched out for us and made sure that we didn't fucking blow it and like get arrested and do dumb shit. And not in a heavy-handed way, just really kind of easy, mellow dude. And he always had like, everybody on Ed's bus, fucking 100 people after the show would hang out over there with this cat and his buddy Wheels, who always had roller skates on. And I was laying on the bed. I was like, oh my God, I'm Captain Ed. All these years later, like it cycles and cycles, and now I'm that fucking guy. It's so weird.
I had a very similar realization one night in our hotel room, like laying on the bed and just looking around me, not talking to anyone, and seeing Cam and Andrew and Jordan and Connor and my two bandmates who I haven't seen in 2 years all in the same room. Was like, this is incredible. This feeling.
Mel?
Well, I mean, all that's really hard to follow, but what Phish and that run and that trip affirmed to me was that magic is indeed real, and I'm using it all the time.
Damn.
You're a wizard, Mel.
I
a wizard.
motherfucking am a wizard. I didn't know it and realize it. And when I look back at those pictures of that weekend and I see that I was with my mother and my uncle and my mother-in-law and my grandson and my best friend from the spa for 20 fucking years and my other best friend from the spa and like each one of you guys and like the employees at the Sphere. And I just realized my magic and what I put into the Phish sphere.
The Phish dude.
And like, it was so special hanging out with you and Jamie that evening. And it just as special as night 4 with all of us entering another dimension, and just as amazing as Ben and Tiff saying how they felt like they were there with us. And like focused attention that NSR and that I collectively give to each person is magic. And that's what Phish is doing. They're literally giving all their focused attention to all of us in their best way, with their best magic, with their best talent. And I was like, holy shit. How did you even get to all those places that you were in Vegas like that weekend? I was all over the fucking Dodge. I was hanging out at Palms Pool. I'm fucking,
I had to tap out part of the way through. I'm like, I just can't. But like something had me like that magic. It literally was magic. Walking into that sphere for the first time and smelling feeling the different atmosphere.
Like the pH was different. I felt it, and it made me realize that all of my intuitive things that when I reach out to somebody, or when I texted somebody in the middle of the show, or when I just turned around, like, this is my form of magic. And what we're doing with No Simple Road is so fucking special. And like, no one's doing that. It's because of how we do our life. Like, me and you are the beginning of everything. And I tripped out about that in the room. And then our grandson losing his tooth, and I was there for that. He lost his tooth on 420, and like, I was there for that. And it just made me realize how a small unknown band from our named band from Vermont can literally change lives. And that's what we're doing. We're changing lives, making them better, our own. We're making our own lives better.
And the ripples go out.
Exactly. Yeah. And then for our kids to see that, like, my daughter was there and was able to witness what you were talking about, Jordan, people just coming up to us from our hometown in Portland to our hometown in Nevada to new people we were just meeting. So for them to have that view of us and to still know that they're more important than anything, like, they had this assurance, and Simon being witness to it when we come home and feeling all the love that we brought, like, it just made me really proud. And I can imagine how Trey must feel.
Oh my God.
I felt like I was the proudest I was of myself I've ever been. And so was he. He was probably the proudest of himself he's ever been. And I felt that feeling. And that's why that heart connection was so strong. I felt like we were doing our heart's purpose, like our life's purpose at the same time. And we were all enjoying the fruits of it. And so magic was real. That's what it felt like.
Mel's takeaway.
Yeah.
That touches on right before I left to get on my flight at 5 o'clock in the morning. We ended up on that we're all national treasures.
Yeah.
Yes.
It ended on.
Yes,
and that
Darren.
was one of the last things we said before we all hugged and I took off. So
and it's the truth.
And then Nick Cage took over the
I'm
sphere.
going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
Well,
right.
Meg, take us home.
I just realized I have a stash pocket in these. Look at this.
Dope.
All right. Sorry.
We're wearing those to every show.
God, I have so much good stuff swirling around in my head right now. I don't know how to organize it, but Phish is I'll start out with this quote from Andrew Sachs, the wisest human I've ever met.
70-year-old.
It's when we were seeing Dogs in a Pile with him at the Stone Pony the day after. He was explaining the way that he views creative ideas. Like, none of us own an idea. Like, if there's an idea out there that exists, like, it's up to me to seize it before Jordan does. And like, how I seize it and like how I serve as the medium for that idea to put it out into the world is going to be different from the way that maybe Apple does it. And God, that just like flipped me. I feel like I've never been the same since Sachs told me that. And Phish is this really awesome medium for not just art and music, but the way to share with other people and be so generous with other people. Before Phish came into my life, like since I was young, my favorite feeling has always been the feeling of introducing someone you love to someone else you love, and then you watch them fall in love. and then like it proliferates, and that happens again and again. And that is not common outside of the fish bubble. That is like a rare thing. Your friends don't always get along. Your loved ones don't always get along. And then I get introduced to the fish community, and it's like, that's what happens every fucking time. It's like on
steroids.
And it's because we all are tapped in to the same beautiful thing. And like none of us really know how to articulate that or communicate it. The only way we know how to do it is to like share it with the next person. And yeah, I mean, like so many of my fish people are some of my newest friends, yet the people that like I am the most deeply connected to. I feel like I have known all of you for my entire life, you know? And like this is the safest place that I now have. Yet we're doing the craziest shit together.
Yeah, right.
Like
we're
I should not feel
we're all walking a tightrope together going, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I can do anything here.
Just like
Gonna fall.
No.
I got that feeling so hard at the after party in your guys' suite, and I had stayed up the night before waiting for Meg to get in and Jordan to leave on his flight. And I was just on the bed, like fighting, going to sleep so hard. I'm like, oh, there's all these people here. I got to meet them. I have to put on a face. And Mel was like, dude, just go to sleep. No one cares.
Yes.
And as soon as you said that,
Permission granted.
yeah.
felt so comfortable there.
Yeah.
Meg,
Beautiful thing.
that's, yeah. I mean, that's what it is at the end of the day is this thing doesn't exist without all of us in it. And that's the bottom line. And for all of you listening and watching on YouTube that are deadheads and are getting ready to go see Dead and Company at the Sphere, man,
Saddle up, partners.
Buckle the fuck up, Chuck, because this is some new shit that you have never done before. I feel like I just went to my first show.
Yeah.
And the last night, this is the last thing we'll say about it. The last night, Mel and I are on the floor, and there was these two young kids behind us.
Oh.
They're maybe 20.
Sweethearts.
And a couple. And we introduced ourselves to him, and he was like, yeah, man, it's our first Phish show.
Ooh.
And that's exactly what I did. I was like, oh. I go, look, this is going to be different than anything you've ever done before.
What an introduction.
Just, I hate to be cliche. I said this to him. I go, I hate to be cliche, but the trick is to surrender to the flow. And if you get confused, listen to the music play.
Take care of your shoes.
Yeah. And he kind of looked at me like, funny. And when the show ended, he was against the fence on the floor, sitting down with like one eye this way and one eye that way as we were walking out. And he was like, thank you, brother. That was fucking amazing. So, yeah, for all of you getting ready to go do the thing, it's different than what you know. And just go in there with like your heart open and your mind open with your family and your friends and get ready to have the fucking doors blown off, whatever you have doors on.
And if you have a seat, sit in it for at least a song. Because
Yeah, feel that bass.
Yeah.
Feel that bass.
Also, I just want to reiterate or iterate for the first time that Steam was born at the Sphere.
We are now the West Coast representatives of Steam. Yeah. It's no longer called Steam, everybody.
No.
Just so you know. It's Steam from now on.
It's a Yiddish song.
Yes.
And this is the last sweetest thing I wanted to read because I got this on Monday. So the shows were over.
No, they weren't.
Well, we did go to the Awakening the next night, but so we're in our hotel room. We're about to lay down, go to bed, and I get this text from Connor. And I won't read it in its entirety, but I feel like it sums up how it just sums up the weekend. I meant to tell you that I can't take my mom to a Phish show and hang out with her afterwards. She wouldn't dig it. So thank you so much for providing that maternal energy when we're at shows together. It's always one of my favorite parts of what we do. What a weekend.
retweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched the Sunday show with my mom because I had to leave.
Oh my
early.
gosh! Right on.
My parents had some funny comments, and one thing she said, well, my dad said, interesting that there's no wind instruments in this band. But then my mom,
I love that observation.
Yeah. All right.
But my mom was saying, like, the first few songs, she's like, they're great musicians. I just can't imagine myself dancing to this. And then Character Zero came on. She's like, I can imagine dancing to this.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
Hell yeah.
Right on, Mom.
She also said they don't look like traditional rock stars.
Mike with the shiny shirt.
I think that's my favorite. There's no wind instruments. Usually there's no wind
they do have a
instruments.
pan flute.
And they also have a vacuum cleaner, which is kind of a wind instrument.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might completely change his.
Wow.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for hanging out with us for an hour and a half
Yeah.
as we cried and laughed.
Any
and
final words, everybody?
I love you guys.
love you.
Final word, because you just brought him up. Connor was part of that. He couldn't be here today for the recap, but I had such a blast with you, Connor. Me and him flew in at the same time. He had not been to Vegas since he was like 12, so we did the full Vegas experience. Made me feel like a tourist. It was so
Felt
fun
great.
bouncing around from hotel to hotel, wandering the strip every night, just doing the Vegas thing. Love you, Connor.
Nice.
My relationship to Las Vegas is healed.
Thank you.
My final note is that I am so hungry and really want good buffalo wings. So
Oh, I know a spot.
We know a place.
I know a
spot.
spot. There's a secret bathroom in the Sphere.
Oh,
I'll give you a hint. I can't tell people where it is.
Hey,
I want to shout out to Andy and to Gary and to Kenny. We met them night 3 and they made the show
for us.
I can't express to you how much part of the landscape they made the show. That's where Steam was born.
Andy.
So
gave us Steam.
Andy and Gary, you in my heart forever. Nice to meet you, Kenny. I hope to meet again along the road.
Yep. Yeah. For everybody watching on YouTube, I'm gonna do the thing. I'm sorry. To subscribe button and so you know
Smash that
do
subscribe.
Smash
do
it.
the YouTube thing on it. And then for everybody else listening, we love y'all. And yeah,
Smile at a stranger.
just take care of each other. Smile at a stranger, safety third, hydrate, and fucking go see
Buy the ticket.
the Sphere and
Take
what
a
it
ride.
does with one of our bands, because it's gonna fucking blow your mind.
Yeah.
See y'all next week. Wait, no, we'll see you Friday. Oh, and sorry for not putting out an episode last week.
How dare you?
I was
Sit.
fucking dying. All right.
All right.
Love y'all. Peace.
Bye.
No reprieve. No excuses.
Like twist and turn the mission, turn the message, turn the wish the word has many problems, but it's a burden. Felony just been deferred, and hella means been the earth, and alchemy can bring the birth, the melody of a newborn. So persistent, so resistant, so insistent, so commitment, so resilient, or haven't you learned it? No simple road. 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 My windshield is shattered as I focus through the spot in the corner that is still intact. The react is both a defense mechanism as well as a fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A equal A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
This is Krista Makes, guitarist and vocalist for Less Than Jake, and host of Krista Makes a Podcast, a songwriting podcast where every week I'm joined by an amazing guest to break down the writing, recording, and release of one iconic song from their career. In our giant evergreen back catalog of episodes, we've had rock legends such as Dee Snider and Huey Lewis, punk rock favorites like Mark Hoppus, Fat Mike, and Brett Gurewitz, and up-and-coming artists of today such as Liz Stokes of the Beths and Genesis Owusu. We've had guests from all genres and styles of music, and I guarantee that if you peruse our back catalog, you'll see several episodes that'll make you say, man, I gotta hear that. Whether you're a fan of music or a creator of music yourself, you'll take away a whole new appreciation for the songs you know and love. Krista Makes a Podcast is available for free on all the places you could possibly listen to podcasts, and new episodes come out every Monday.